This is Jim McGinnis, author of Tending to the Past. I'm going to talk about today the first form of understanding, or the role of art and literature in teaching American history. I do love books, especially old ones. I love the smell of them. I like the feel of the worn pages. There is a humanness to them. I once bought a Hemingway biography off a shelf in a restaurant. It was placed there as a decoration, for crying out loud. I don't recall much about that dinner, but the rescue book is still there upon my shelf, waiting for yet another visit. I like to think of all the times a book was opened. Who was the reader? Was she sitting in a rocker or a recliner, in front of a fire or out on the porch? Was he sipping good whiskey or hot coffee? Was there a dog at his feet? Did she have music playing? And so it is with the stories and ideas that spring from the books. Hemingway himself said that after reading a good book, it all belongs to you. Books, poems, and paintings can draw you in. Before I can even attempt to make history come alive for my students, it must first come alive for me. And for that to happen, it must be human. It must be filled with stories of men and women doing great and good things, of complicated people and simple truths. I once heard an account of how Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence while holed up in a modest room in Philadelphia. It struck me that aside from pen and paper and wine and cheese, all he had was his violin. He'd write a while and play the fiddle a while, write some more, then play some more. I guess it's not a stretch to say our nation was played into existence. Jefferson himself instinctively knew the power of music. You know, I'm not sure if I could give a lesson on Thomas Jefferson without telling that particular story. I can't imagine teaching the text of the Declaration without also teaching the context of its creation. While in Philadelphia, Jefferson lost 2 daughters, a son, and his mother. Back in Virginia, his wife was too grief-stricken to get out of bed. Still, under those circumstances, he wrote what Lincoln would later call the immortal emblem of humanity. Damn. The American Declaration of Independence stands on its own. It's up to us, the living, to realize what we have here. Nevertheless, the human drama behind its creation strengthens its grip on me. I'm struck by the motives and politics of the members of Congress, the huge sacrifices, struggles, and tragedies in their lives, the irony of establishing ideals and principles that few could live up to. These things make it all the more amazing. Stories of the relationships between Adams and Jefferson and the power of George Washington's leadership bolster our understanding of human nature. Understanding human nature, isn't that what America is all about? According to Frost, poetry is the first form of understanding each other and ourselves. The more comfortable I am with the subject, the more creative I can be with my lesson. True, we must rein in the student's curiosity so he or she can focus on the task at hand, but narrative history is about discovering the plot. If a teacher knows his song well, he can give his students more latitude for discovery. But there's more, much more. The lecture needs rhythm, it needs irony and pathos, and it needs place. All of these things can be taken from poetry. In our noble efforts to tell the stories of great change in the world, wars and depression, revolution and oppression, liberation and occupation, mass migrations and convulsions within or without, we often smother the lives of the individuals. History loses its humanity. It takes on the appearance of an irresistible natural force resembling an earthquake or tornado. Poetry reminds us of our humanity. It puts faces back on the characters and breathes the human spirit back into their bodies. Those we've lost in wars weren't just statistics. They were sons and fathers and husbands, uncles and cousins.